Jeremy at the Bothering here, and I'm talking very slowly to stretch out the video to 10 minutes or more with some spicy takes. Let's talk about the Activision stock slowly.
Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. That's right, the video game show that is not hosted by an annoying e-beggar. There is no Patreon, no super chats. That's right, we just talk about the games we love and how fun it is to hoard them. Collect them. Now, with that said, let's get ready for the show. On today's episode, this show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer, investing with video games. That's right, I love it. Something that interests me a lot. I love trading in stocks. By the way, let's do the disclaimer. This is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Alright guys, what's the difference between, for example, the Amico investment and, let's say, Blizzard Activision? Well, you can actually make money with Blizzard Activision, right? If you got out at the right time, or if you're going to step in at the right time. When you decide to jump into the stock market, right? And I'm going to use very simple terms here, guys, because the purpose of this series is to bring people to the market, to educate the layperson that has never thought about coming into the market, to maybe, encourage them to learn more about investing and just being more educated in, our financial markets here in the U.S. So thank you for sticking around. Well, let's talk about Activision. Like I said, we are slaves when we're going to be trading stocks, securities, and be slaves to volatility, meaning the prices fluctuate up and down, right? That's called volatility, right? It has many different terms, but I'm again using very basic terms here to bring people in to the fold. So, you wait for things to go low, hoping that they go high, and you sell them at the high point, waiting for them to go low, right? Good example is if you own retro games right now, it's a great time to sell because they're at their high point, right? If you're just collecting for the value of it, just to make a profit, now's the time to sell. So when it comes to Activision, we have, and let me show you the first chart here.
Now, first, let me start off by saying that the claims that have been made in this particular case are horrendous, and I think they're going to hurt the company quite a bit. Now, I'm not taking any of that lightly by any means, but we're talking about the valuation of the company here. Whatever the claims are that are made and whatever's proven, it'll have a value depending on what the state can prove, right? And there's for sure fines coming out here. But like most big companies that get in trouble with the state, there's going to be some sort of settlement here, and eventually they're going to try to work it out. So by no means I want you to think that I'm diminishing anything of the horrible things that happen in this company, because they are terrible. But for this particular case, we're just talking about the valuation of the company itself. Alright guys, so this is our first chart here, and one of the reasons I did a parody of the courting is because there's many YouTubers out there that like to give you breaking information when it comes to video game companies, and this is actually information that you can use if you get the information early enough when it comes to the stocks of a company. So this news with the whole harassment claims that came from the employees of the company, I think they broke out around the 20th, but didn't really start gaining traction till the 22nd or something like that. But you can see in our chart here that as soon as that broke, if you look with the arrows pointed there by the little face with a black eye, boom, the stock starts going straight down, right? People are selling because of the FUD. And what is FUD? FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. When investors get a feeling that, things at a company are not going right, they want to take their money out, right? they want to take the money and run, especially if they bought at a lower price point. something you cannot do in these private ventures where you're investing in a startup. So when that happens, that creates volatility in the market. That creates volatility in the price of the stock. It starts going up and down, right? As people sell, some people buy, but if the majority of the people sell, right, then the prices start going lower and lower. If you could see this chart here, and of course it's year to date, the ending price of this week was 82.63, right? It was down another 0.65%. It had a high of 91.73. It went all the way up there. But now, after this whole bad news, after everything, we're down in the low 80s. And because of the news, we could see that the price turned down. Now, if you would have gotten out, you could have saved some of your money. But also, if you would have put in what's called a put or a bet against the stock, you would have made money on the way down. But this is why it's so important to keep your information fresh, right? If you're just a regular stock trader, if you're going to trade for long term, you want to buy at the lowest price possible. Now let's take a look at another chart. All right, guys, so here's a 5-year chart, and let's look at what they're telling us. This is from Yahoo Finance, by the way. It's very basic, something anybody can look up. You can go in there and just type your favorite company that's publicly traded, and you can look at all this information for free. Okay, so according to Yahoo, they're looking at short-term bullish, meaning that they think in the near term the stock might go up, right? And if you look up there, they're thinking that their support line is 81.53, meaning they don't think it's going to go below that. I disagree. The resistance at 92.85, meaning that it's not going to go higher than that. And if you were to buy it, or let's say you bought it right now at the current price of 82.63, you would put a stop loss of 78.28, meaning that if the price of the stock would go below that price, it would sell automatically, so you wouldn't lose any more money. I'm not looking at any of that, right? Because I'm not looking to make, in a company like this, I don't want to make $9-10 per stock. Number one, because the stock is, expensive. You're looking at the high 80s, right? If anything, on most stocks, you'd be looking to double your money if you bought it at the right time over a period of time. This 10x for independent crowdfunded companies usually doesn't work out. Let's just put it that way, right? And there are, investments that you can make in the market where you can, double your money, triple your money, depending on where you buy it, and if you're familiar enough with the company, and if you have the right information, but I'm just looking at this stock this way, right? So let me tell you what I'm looking at. I see the stock in 2017 was at $35, then it peaked, then it went back down again to $42, and now we're looking that it peaked again at 91 and change, or a bit over 100 at some period, and it's going to go back down. So if I'm looking at this, right, and I'm just keeping it on my radar, guys, I'm not buying the stock, I'm just looking at to see what happens. But overall, I think the market's going to go down just because of the way things are going right now. Looks like prices are going up, people are returning to work, so people are not going to be playing as many video games as they did, during all this lockdown, which caused a lot of these prices to rise, right? So I'm waiting for this stock to go down. And I'm looking at the area between these two green lines that I put in there, anywhere from 42 to 52, I'd be looking at the stock, right, to buy it, because I know most likely at some point with the properties that they have, it would go back up. And within a period of time, I would double my money, something I could not do, right, if I was to put, let's say I bought $1,000 worth of stock, right, and I would put $1,000 in a time deposit for a 2-year period. I would do better with this stock generally than I would with the money just sitting in the bank, right? And that's what I would take from this, right? Those are the kinds of opportunities you can find when you follow the news of your favorite game companies, right? That's why it's worth listening to the news, and if you're involved at all in video games, like I told you before, it's good information for you. If you see a company that's undervalued, right? Or in this case, a company right now that is overvalued, because the only way this can go, as far as I can see, again, not financial advice, but if I had to guess, this company's stock is going to go down.
Now that you have a big picture on the stock, right, you can see what I'm looking at, right? I have this stock on my radar. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy it. I'm just looking at it to see if it's going to follow the patterns that I think it's going to follow. And is it ever going to beat the price that I think I should buy it at in order to make a long-term profit? That's all I'm looking for. And what am I relying? A lot of it is the news, right? A lot of it is information that hits the internet a lot faster than it does the mass media, right? So that gives me an edge, right? Not as much of an edge as if you are in the company and own it and know what's going on, right? Or work there. But it gives you an edge over some other investors that are not monitoring the stock that closely. And since we're into gaming, we know what these games do. We know the popularity of these games. You know, you're going to know whether or not subscriptions are rising, right? Or are they declining? And as you can see, everything's declining right now. Is it going to hit the prices that we hope they do? Maybe. And if they do, for sure, I'm jumping in. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing, for commenting. And again, I'm going to do more of these videos on different video game companies and maybe do a review of all the companies that we're looking at and where the stocks are standing right now. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.